All right, it's Monte Carlo time, and this is vintage Masters 1000 tennis. We've got the short, small draw, short tournament schedule, and all the best players in the world are here, except for Yannick Sinner, who is still banned. So let's break down this draw, this 54-player draw in Monte Carlo, where the sun is shining and things are looking good on the clay. We're back on the clay, so we're going to break down the draw and get into this and give some predictions at the end. So thanks for being here. This is the Slice presented by Betway. Let's get into it. All right, it's been 3 years now since I was in Europe at the Monte Carlo Masters, and I went to the Monte Carlo Casino and lost $50 on blackjack in 2 hands. Yeah, $50, I should say 50 euros. So that hurt. But what didn't hurt was watching that tournament live. Incredible venue, maybe the most beautiful out of all the Masters 1000s. Probably is actually. It's just like, let's just give it to that. Let's just give it that. Like it is. And an unbelievable tournament. Still in the shorter format, which I love because I've made it no secret on here. I do not like the longer format of what most of the Masters 1000s are now at. Most players don't. I haven't really heard anyone say any good things about it, but it does probably make more money for the tours and therefore for the players. So, anyways, this is kind of a blast from the past. Monte Carlo, we're ready to go. And yeah, the players are here. We've got Alcaraz and Djokovic searching for Alcaraz searching for form. Djokovic back in the saddle after playing great in Miami, making it to the final, losing to Jakub Mensik, who is not in Monte Carlo. Jakub Mensik pulled out because, this is Monte Carlo is not a mandatory event. You're allowed to miss one of the Masters 1000s events, and he just won Miami. Probably wanted to recoup. And the interesting thing is, I read that his ranking boost that he obviously got from winning Miami wasn't taken into effect in Monte Carlo when the entry was made, like the entry deadline was made for the tournament. So he would have had to go through qualifying. So he was like, you know what, forget this. Let's start in Barcelona maybe, and then go to Madrid and get the season rolling. So newest Masters 1000 champ, Jakub Mensik, not in the draw, but Stefanos Tsitsipas he has won it 3 of the last 4 years, if you can believe that. So yeah, we're going to break down this draw and we're going to look at the quarters, and there's not that many players to look at, which makes my job a little bit easier. And I think it makes us all of our brains a little bit more smooth when it comes to this. So anyways, thanks for being here. This is The Slice. If you're new here and if you've started following because of our Alex Eala content, welcome. We're going to be doing the podcast tomorrow with JP Hovey, and we are going to be introducing a segment called the Alex Eala Hour. We're going to be talking about her. We're going to see where she's going to play next. So thanks for subscribing. Thanks for being here. And let's get into this Monte Carlo draw. Why don't we? Okay. Zverev's the number 1 seed. If the quarterfinals were to play out how they're supposed to, you'd have Zverev, Tsitsipas. They're in the same quarter. You have Djokovic, de Minaur in the second quarter there. And then you'd have Casper Ruud in his quarter, the 4th seed, with Jack Draper. And then you have Alcaraz on the bottom with Rublev in his quarter. So that's how it would work out. But I mean, look at this draw. This short, little, tiny draw here, 54 players. It's a Masters 1000. There is almost no easy matches out here. So every first round match is 2 amazing players. There's only 16 seeds. And a lot of these first round matches have already played. But yeah, we're going to go quarter by quarter here. So let's look at the Zverev quarter. Alexander Zverev, I believe he was quoted before the tournament saying, I could use some wins, which is definitely true. So he's here, and he will play the winner of Mariano Navone from Argentina, who came through qualifying, and Matteo Berrettini. Not an easy start. If you're Zverev, he would have to go through one of those 2 guys, and then he'd have to either go probably through Lorenzo Musetti or Sebastian Korda or Yuri Lehechka, and then he could play Tsitsipas or Holger Rune. And then he could play Djokovic or de Minaur, and then into the final. So Zverev's the number 1 seed, but does he have the number 1 chance of winning this tournament? I would say definitely not. He has not been at his best since essentially getting the opportunity to take over the number 1 spot if he played well, which he hasn't done. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Djokovic's quarter, the third quarter. Sorry, who else is in that quarter? I already kind of touched on it, but yeah, lots of great players. The seeded players, there's only 2 seeded players outside of the top 2 in each quarter. That's Musetti here as the 13th and Holger Rune as the 10th. Jordan Thompson already beating Mpeshi Perricard, who I believe has been slipping, not playing his best either. So yeah, Djokovic's quarter. He's got De Minaur as the 8th seed on the other side of it. He's got Dimitrov as the 15th seed in his 8th, and Daniil Medvedev as the 9th seed also in that quarter. There's 2 wild cards, Stan Wawrinka and Valentin Vachereau from Monaco, who already won his match, 6-2, 6-1 over Struff. So he'll have the Monaconians going crazy if they are. But yeah, the news is if Wawrinka can beat Alejandro Tabilo, then he can play Djokovic, and everyone would love that. There'd be flashbacks to the checkered shorts on the clay when they played that French Open final, which Wawrinka won. But I was just looking on the Betway app, and yeah, they've got Alejandro Tabilo as the slight favorite to beat Wawrinka there, and I think that that's right. It's just tennis doesn't always have things work out the way you would like it, and Tabilo, I think, has like a pretty good chance to play spoiler there to beat Wawrinka, and he'll play Djokovic and probably lose to Djokovic, but it will rob us of that matchup, which a lot of people would like to see. But who knows? That's going to be a match you can watch and see if Wawrinka can do it as a 40-year-old, I believe. Pretty crazy. So we move on. So yeah, on the other side of that quarter, Daniil Medvedev plays Khachanov in the first round. That is tough. There's Mahac, Baez, and De Minaur will play the winner of those 2 guys. Third quarter, Casper Ruud's quarter, 4th seed. He's got Francis Tiafoe, 14th seed there, lost to Jensen Brooksby in the final of Houston. That's crazy. And Ben Shelton as the 11th seed there, who could play Jack Draper. Again, Denis Shapovalov is in there. He plays Marcos Giron in the first round. Not the worst first round for him, but if he can get through there, he can play Jack Draper. And then that'd be 2 big lefties going at it. And let's see what'll happen. But I like that draw for Dennis, not going to lie. But we'll see. Francis Tiafoe plays Kecmanovic. Shelton plays Davidovich Fokina. Humbert, Popyrin, Bautista Agut, Nakashima. This is what is so great about these draws. Every single player, you're like, oh yeah, that's a top 50 guy, because they essentially are all top 50 players. And we love to see that. Casper Ruud, he will have to play the winner of Bautista Agut and Nakashima. Going down to Alcaraz's quarter. Alcaraz, I think, has a pretty tough route here. His first match will be the winner of wildcard Fabio Fognini, former winner of this event, and Francisco Cerundolo, who played great tennis, beat Tommy Paul in Miami. He's a great player. That's a tough first round, no matter who you play, because if Fognini wins, he's just he is a wild card, but he's a wild card when you play him, because you're just like, how good will this guy play? He can redline and play amazing, or he can blow himself up. Alcaraz then would play the winner of Gasquet and either Felix Auger-Aliassime or Daniel Altmaier. Personally hoping for Felix Auger-Aliassime to come through Altmaier and then Gasquet to play Alcaraz in the 3rd round. That would be a great matchup and a great test, I think, on the slower conditions, the slower high bouncing clay of Monaco. So we'll see about that. But then Alcaraz would have to go through either Rublev or Artur Fils. If it's Artur Fils, that's just like super physical, super dangerous. And then he would have to go through Ruud or Draper. But yeah, not an easy route, I don't think, from the start for Alcaraz, but really it's not an easy route for anyone. I think if you're a Djokovic fan, you would like his quarter. Djokovic, he'll play either Wawrinka or Tabilo, but he's the big favorite there. And then he plays Dimitrov, which I just think on these slower courts, I don't know how I feel about Dimitrov's chances there, especially after he just kind of looked like he had no options against him in Miami. And then De Minaur, Daniil Medvedev. I seriously expect Djokovic to come out of that quarter to play either Zverev or Tsitsipas. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the quarters. Djokovic probably has one of the more simpler quarters. Alcaraz, tougher one, I think, a little bit, but the big dogs are the favorites at this tournament. And now we go to prediction time. Predictions on this court. Djokovic has not historically had a great time here in the last, while, last, call it 5 to 10 years. And someone who has Stefanos Tsitsipas. He's coming into this event back on the clay, his favorite surface. This is a slower, high bouncing type of clay. He's won 3 of the last 4 years here, and now he has a new racket. So even when he wasn't feeling confident with his old Wilson or his game, he was still winning. And now he's got a new racket, the Babolat Pure Arrow, and he's been playing better. He's been whipping the ball around, and yeah, I like his chances here for sure. So I like Stefanos Tsitsipas as my favorite to win the tournament. People might call me crazy. Let me know what you think down below. But the other one there, obviously, is Carlitos Alcaraz. Can he find a level? The crazy thing to me is he does not currently hold a Masters 1000 title. He holds the French Open and Wimbledon. Outside of that, he holds Beijing, and I think that's about it. So he's been in a weird form. He's going to want to win a tournament. Can he do it in Monte Carlo? I would love to see that. I would love to see him put in a dominant performance and put the tour on notice that, hey, I'm still the big dog here. But honestly, he could win it. Djokovic could win it. Tsitsipas could win it. And a few other guys could win it. Yeah, this is a tournament that's been more accessible to players than others. So we'll see. But it's a great draw. 54 players, 16 seeds, 1 week. This is what dreams are made of. So I'm excited. That's the draw. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you haven't yet, subscribe. We're hitting the podcast tomorrow. It should be out Tuesday. So we'll have more updates on rankings, movers, shakers, what's been happening in Monte Carlo then. But until then, thanks for being here. Shout out to Betway. We will see you next time here on The Slice.